let it grow. I'm at war with it, but it's hard to let it go.
This is a weapon review.
Today we'll be taking a look at the Iron Banner's Time-Worn Spire. This is a legendary pulse rifle in a 540 RPM archetype, similar to the Harder Time from FWC and the Lincoln Green. So if you like either one of these weapons, then you definitely will like this one as well. However, the only way you can get this weapon is by turning in Iron Banner tokens to Lord Saladin, but your chances of getting it are at the mercy of Lord Saladin's RNG. Like the other weapons in its respective archetype, this weapon has rapid fire frame as its intrinsic perk, which increases its reload speed when the magazine is empty. The sights consist of hit mark IS, a clear open sight with a short zoom, red dot micro, a small red dot sight that will look most familiar to anyone who's ever used a nightshade pulse rifle, and rifle scope SSF, a scope sight best suited for longer range engagements. In all honesty, it's a pretty big toss up between hit mark IS and red dot micro. Both sights look nice and work incredibly well in PvP where this weapon performs the best, but I personally use red dot micro for the range increase. As a matter of fact, the red dot micro has even more of a range bonus than the rifle scope SSF. Now I can't personally recommend rifle scope SSF because in my professional opinion, equipping a scope to a close range, quick firing weapon like the Time-Worn Spire is incredibly counterintuitive, and since most if not all your gunfights won't be from afar, since this archetype as a whole doesn't have the best stability, and you would definitely notice how much it kicks and bounces around when you try to engage somebody at scout rifle range. You just save yourself the trouble and just don't ever do that. The magazine perks consist of tactical mag and accurized rounds, and to some extent you can get away with using either one of these, but I personally go with tactical mag for the increases the stability, reload speed, and magazine size. If you were to choose accurized rounds, you'd only gain and increase the range, but lose some points in stability, reload speed, and 3 rounds in the magazine, which will hurt your combat utility. The final perk is Zen Moment, which increases this weapon's stability as you deal damage to an opponent. In my experience, this perk has been a very integral component to the overall combat performance of this weapon. Zen Moment reduces the kick of the Time-Worn Spire to give you less of a hassle of accurately landing your shots, and this perk greatly complements the Time-Worn Spire high aim assist value of 79. Similarly to the other 540 RPM pulse rifles, the Time-Worn Spire has a somewhat erratic recoil pattern, but you can easily remedy that with a kinetic counterbalance mod or 2 if you're a hunter, which will up the ante even further in terms of this weapon's overall effectiveness. I haven't found a practical way to test the stability increase from Zen Moment, but in Destiny 1 your weapon stability will receive a 66% increase after about 5 repeated hits. So maybe when private matches are introduced in Destiny 2, I'll revisit the Zen Moment perk to give you a more accurate demonstration of how much stability you actually gain. In PvP, this weapon has been my go-to kinetic weapon choice since I first obtained it in the very first Iron Banner of Destiny 2. In close to mid-range, I easily hose enemies down, but I frequently find myself losing gunfights if I engage outside of mid-range, so don't punish yourself by doing that. All it takes for the Time-Worn Spire to put a Guardian down is 9 crits and I believe 2 body shots, and its fastest time to kill is 1.07 seconds, making it a worthy contender of the most frequently used weapons in the Crucible. Now for PvE, it's incredibly difficult for me to recommend not just this weapon in particular, but its entire archetype as a whole. It still retains its blindly fast kill speeds in PvE, but I commonly encounter the issue of ammo management. You'll be emptying out your magazines very frequently, which leads to frequent reloading, and this weapon's base reload speed is abysmal, so your DPS potential with this weapon isn't gonna be the best. There are just better weapon options out there that are actually tailored to PvE, so I'd honestly suggest that you go with those. But with that being stated, I am 1LHD, and this has been a weapon review. Thank you for tuning in. Keep it smooth.